Yeah.
I'll start.
Oh, go ahead.
Thanks. I've had the fun of being an aide of a few students that have graduated and seeing the transition with their families go through it. And I was not the teacher at the time, but it was really jarring for the families. The students went from all these services and doing all these great things every day. So like literally nothing, like just me, like as a 23-year-old being like, how do we fill your day? How do we go get a job? And now that I'm on the teacher side, I see that there are efforts being made to support students in transition, but I don't know, it's a lot to know where to begin, especially as a new teacher and post-senior.
Thank you.
Yeah, I actually can, back Jackie. I, for a long time, was an aide in the post-senior program, and as well as a one-to-one aide, and followed many students through graduation. And, I think that every year it really depended on circumstances. I think that there was a lot of good transition that occurred, but there was also a lot of students who, maybe the family was not as involved, or there was no direction from certain, people. And it's kind of been an unsaid of like whose responsibilities are what, unclarity, which makes a huge difference. So that's just my input. But I do think, there's been a lot of wonderful transitions, but there's also been a lot of students where it's like, why are you sitting at the mall with no program? There's no reason for this.
Thanks, Melissa.
Yeah, I would say, I feel like the couple of students since we kind of started this last year who I've kept in touch with seem to be happy with the transition that has taken place and have gotten up and running in a good amount of time. But even those students, the lead up to it was kind of pretty uncertain for families. It felt like there was a lot of feeling of kind of last minute, okay, how do we get this together and learn everything that there is to learn? And Missy, I would just echo what you said about the who is responsible for what, and that piece of it, in my experience over the last few years, seems to be where maybe a lot of times things kind of fall through the cracks. It's just everybody's sort of aware of certain things. Even recently, I've been learning more about Department of Rehab and the different programs that are there. And it's been so interesting because I'm realizing it's not just a County Office of Ed thing. It's even trying to figure out which program within Department of Rehab to get students connected with, and those programs not quite speaking to each other or knowing what's available even within the agency. So yeah, just communication, collaboration, that piece, I feel like there seems to just be a need for all of us that are part of an agency dealing with the transition.
Jackie, you were saying that you feel a little bit confused. Were you talking about not knowing whose responsibility is what? What Jessamine and Missy was saying? They were saying that it seems like people know what needs to be done, but they don't, a lot of people don't know whose responsibility, which piece is whose responsibility is it, the teacher or SARC or.
Yeah, and I think I feel like a lot of times, the wonderful teachers, Jackie, Maria, you guys go over and above your job. And I think that those are the people that have had success. The students that have teachers like Becca, Maria, Jackie, even, Emily, she's learning. But it really just takes that personality of a teacher to kind of do over and above. But is that really the teacher's responsibility? We don't know. It kind of changes year to year, I think.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to share my screen and post the second question. And by the way, I have 6 questions. The second question is, how familiar are you with the transition planning timeline document? And I hyperlink in case you guys need a little refreshing. Or you're good. So maybe just your first overall impression, how familiar are you with this transition planning timeline document?
actually checked it out a few times